This is a signature project by MeganBlackmon. So the vision for the signature project is to determine if recording lessons and uploading to Google Classroom for students to rewatch will affect their achievement in the classroom. However, with the current 2020 coronavirus pandemic, the data in this project could be drastically changed. I feel like it would be drastically changed for the better. And what I mean by that is I feel like more students are going to be accessing Google Classroom, more teachers are going to be recording their lessons, and when we get to the slides that show the teacher recording already, I feel like those numbers are going to be changed after this. So variables to consider. Persuading teachers to buy into recording their lessons, and we're going to see that data in a few minutes. And the best way to do this is with professional development. And again, with the current situation, more teachers that were uncomfortable recording their lessons, I feel like those numbers are going to go down. I feel like there's going to be less teachers that are not comfortable with recording their lessons because pretty much everybody has to go online now. And again, we need professional development to take place over social media by teachers helping other teachers mastering technology apps. There's already been several videos by teachers that have been posted on social media outlets for other teachers to use and to learn from. I know myself, I've already recorded a video for Google Hangout for our school system. And each teacher will need access to either a hover cam or another recording device for their students. The IT department predicts that each teacher at Thompson High School, where this data was pulled, will have access to hover cams in their classroom by spring 2020. And the last update that I had, we only needed 4 teachers to have hover cams, and I believe that was just because of a defect in their hover cam that we were waiting to get fixed. So all teachers had a hover cam at one point, but those 4 just had a defect and they were being sent off to get fixed. Alright, so this is the data that was recorded in the summer of 2019, and it says, how often do you record your lessons and upload to Google Classroom for students to rewatch? And so you notice they're color-coded. 35.5% of the teachers in this survey said they never recorded lessons. 22.6% said they occasionally recorded. But the ones that I wanted to look at were the never and occasionally and sometimes. So that's the blue, the red, and the orange. And that's because I wanted to understand why they did not record their lessons. Alright, so for the student survey, in order to use the technology given, students need to have access to internet and smart devices. At Thompson, they have access to both every morning during zero period, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays we have what we call an advisory class period in the middle of the day during the lunchtime, and students have access to the library, and every teacher also has access to a computer in their room, an extra computer in their room for students to work on. Okay, so that's what we have. Student laptops, media center during advisories. All teachers, except for the 4 that we talked about before, have hover cams, and those are simply due to a defect, so we're getting that worked through. And all teachers have 6 Chromebook carts that are shared and can be checked out with a Google Calendar. And many teachers take advantage of those Chromebook carts. Alright, so attendance is one thing in my research that college professors were worried about. They were worried that if they recorded their lessons and posted them, then students wouldn't come to class. And but a teacher plays a vital role in that, and the effectiveness of a teacher is their relationship with their students. Thompson High School has many absences due to extracurricular activities, and we're going to see that data in just a minute. And what I've noticed at Thompson High School is that recording videos for my students has helped for them to keep up with makeup work. So this project is designed to help students stay connected with classroom instruction and be involved with extracurricular activities as well. So it's a way for them to be out of class with their extracurricular activities, but they can still keep up with everything that's going on as well. All right, so these are the absences for Thompson High School for the junior class of 2019. And I picked the junior class because that's the ACT data that we were going to look at to see how much it changed. And if you notice, we have a high percentage of absences in several different race categories. All right, so the timeline has pretty much been on track. The survey was sent out in the summer of 2019, July 4th. I emailed after that data was compiled. I emailed specific teachers who said they seldom or never recorded their lessons to get their feedback on it. Most feedback was simply that they didn't feel comfortable recording their lessons and posting it for the world to see. We had specific conversations about that with each teacher, and they were all very receptive to the conversations that we had, but it was mainly that they didn't feel comfortable with posting their lessons. But again, that's probably going to change now as we're forced to record lessons and upload activities for students. We have a professional development day for teachers to learn more about how to use recording technology, and we did that in the fall. It wasn't quite October 2nd because this data was pulled from a previous class, but it was in the fall that we did that. It was at the end of October. So the survey for students, that we can't take place right now because the research is not actually being conducted, and there's several different stipulations when you actually survey students. But I feel like they would be more receptive to watching lesson videos now that we're all forced to be in this online situation. Many of my students have said previously that they don't learn well from recorded lessons, and after many discussions with them, the main thing that I've learned is I asked them, do you watch the video like a YouTube video, meaning that you just basically watch it, or 2, do you watch the video like you would in class? So what I mean by that is, did you actually take notes? Did you pause it and rewind it when you had questions? Or, versus a YouTube video, did you just sit and stare at the screen? So were you interactive with it like you would in class, or did you just stare at it like a YouTube video? And most of the time, the ones that say they didn't learn well were the ones that watched it like a YouTube video. And so that's kind of just like a culture change that I've had to take place with my students and remind them, hey, you missed class. So if you missed class, you have to watch that video just like you would in class. And once I've started to change that mindset with them, then they've been a lot more receptive to learning from it. And, it's things like, hey, circle that problem, that math problem that you didn't understand, and bring that back to me, and that's that culture that I'm changing with them. So send a survey to teachers via email to ask how often they record their lessons now. I'm going to be very interested to see. That didn't actually happen in December, but I would be very interested to see what the results would be after the school year is over for 2020. So now that we've been forced in this online situation, I would be very interested to see what the data shows me in May. The class of 2021 to take the ACT, that still did happen on March 10th, 2020. That was right before the coronavirus pandemic happened. And receiving ACT scores, we're still waiting on those to come back. Hopefully, they'll still be back in May 2020, but that could be postponed with the current situation. So again, I'm going to be very interested to see how this data is going to change now. And those are my references.